Well, we are still in the pandemic, y'all, and right now we're starting to see the highest number of COVID-19 cases in children since this pandemic started over a year and a half ago. Now, this comes as a battle over mask mandates heats up across the country, especially when it comes to kids. Our justice correspondent, Candace Kelley, has been taking a look at this, and she joins us this morning with more. Candace, this still astonishes me that parents and politicians even feel like this is a big issue. It is a huge issue when it comes to mask mandates, but a lot of parents and politicians want to ban those mask mandates, and despite the safety of their children. But what did you learn about the Supreme Court in the document the Department of Justice just released?
Well, what's interesting about these documents that this is the first time that we have heard from the Department of Justice and anybody on the federal government level really making the case for mandating masks. On the one hand, we have the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Barrett. She's the one who was able to hear this case in an emergency situation. There were 8 students at Indiana University who said, listen, we do not want to wear these masks. There was an emergency application. Many people may not know that during this time when the Supreme Court is not in session, there are different judges that are assigned to various parts of the country. So this was the part of the country that fell into this justice's lap, Justice Barrett. She decided that, you know what, this isn't enough information, or they're not really making a case enough for me to bring this back to the other justices, which is normally what happens when there's a consideration from all justices that there might be a conflict. So the fact that she did not take this case back to the justices really says that the justices don't think that there is a conflict in this at all, meaning that mask mandates are okay. Indiana University, go ahead and do what you need to do. Then on the other hand, we have somebody by the name of Lucas Wall. We've talked about Lucas in the past. He's the one who, during a pandemic, he brought a case against the CDC, brought a case against the president, TSA. This is because he said that because of medical conditions, he was unable to fly, and that because of that, that inhibited and prevented him from expressing himself and prevented him from having his right to not wear a mask. Well, the Department of Justice, they submitted a 157-page document saying that this is not anything that he should have been prevented from doing. In other words, he did not have the right to be left alone by the government, that the government has the right to infringe upon his rights, as what he was saying, to wear that mask because other people are in his arena. So here we have the Department of Justice and the Supreme Court saying, listen, these masks are needed. So they've spoken. And so it was an interesting week last week to hear from these 2 particular branches of the government.
Yeah, wow. Anyway, people
it makes
used to
sense,
smoke,
right?
they ban smoking indoors. Yeah, but you can't smoke around people because it infringes on their rights as well. Anyway, but mask mandates in general across the nation. What is the breakdown, Candace?
So we have a graphic because the bottom line is that it's a state-by-state situation. So let's look at this. States with mask mandate bans so far. We are looking at Arkansas, Arizona, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and Florida. States with indoor mask mandates, Oregon, Nevada, Hawaii, Louisiana, District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. And then there are states that have indoor mask mandates for the unvaccinated, California, Connecticut, Illinois, New Mexico, New York, and Washington. So what we have really is a lot of mass confusion, Sharon and Mike. We have so many states that are doing so many different things. If you cross borders, you have to figure what's going on in each state before you walk into Costco or Bed Bath & Beyond, because it's different in every single state, mandated, not mandated. And even in terms of what's going on in schools, as we've heard already from Texas and Florida, we know that they have differentiated themselves from other parts of the country in terms of banning mask mandates. So it really is a touch and go, and really a mess in terms of what the government needs to do, what the state needs to do in order to figure out what goes on in their particular arena. Now, here's what we do know. States, they do have the right to govern the public health and safety of what goes on within their state. And that's why these governors are doing what they are doing right now, making individual decisions, even though it's coming through the court system. So a lot of this we're going to hear a lot more lawsuits in the future. And we've had courts decide both ways, for these mask mandates and against these mask mandates. So depending upon what state you in, that determines whether or not you have this mask or not. Very confusing overall.
And the main thing that people need to realize when it comes to their health, even if there is not a mask mandate in your state, or there's a ban, you can still you have the right to continue to wear your mask in or
Exactly.
outdoors. They can't tell you not to wear your mask, so you can stay safe when others aren't. Confusions though around schools. This is the main thing. Once again, the cases are up among children. You talked about the governors striking down the mask mandates in those.
Yes.
What's the latest there? Because I know President Biden was getting involved when it came to Florida and actually hoping to pay the salaries of some of the administrators down there.
Yeah, so we're looking at Florida and Governor DeSantis saying that we are not going to pay the salaries of those people who decide that they're going to leave these mask mandates in place. The governor saying that we'll just use the money from the federal government in order to supplement or add to whatever monies are needed in order to pay these teachers at the end of the day. So what we're seeing again is these governors that are making their decision, and they're justifying it by saying what you just said. In other words, we're not telling you that you can't wear a mask. We're just saying that we are banning the requirement of the mask. So these mask mandates, we don't want it. Do what you want on your own, though. If you have a mask, we're not saying take it off. We're not saying ban the mask. So that's the caveat and kind of the semantics game that they're playing in terms of saying you still have your rights, though, don't you? You're your own parent. You know what's best for your children. So make that decision accordingly. Kind of flies in the face of reason, though, because not all parents can make the right decision. Not everybody, especially when it comes to young people. They might take off that mask. They might, they might do things that inhibit or continue the spread of this variant. So there are a lot of things at play here, but different counties within different states are deciding different things, and there's infighting all along the way. But what's interesting is that in a way, we've already heard from the Supreme Court, right? We've heard the law of the land saying that when it comes to schools, it's okay, have that mask mandate. The problem is here that people just aren't listening. The CDC is saying one thing. We have the government that's saying one thing. We have governors that are saying one thing, and there's just no meeting of the minds yet.
It's so confusing. It really is out there. But once again, you have the right as an individual to do what's best for you and your health. So continue to wear that mask indoors, even if you are vaccinated, especially if you're unvaccinated. And then the hypocrisy when it comes to politicians sometimes as well, because their kids might be wearing masks when they're telling your kids they don't have to. And then there's reports down in Florida that Trump on one of his hotels is mandating mask wearing while DeSantis is basically trying to ban. It's so much, Candace, right? So very much.
The irony of it.
The irony of it, the hypocrisy of it.
Yeah, and President Biden, he does not actually have the authority to require a national mask mandate. He can do it based upon federal level things in terms of federal government employees. You wear the mask. If you're crossing crossing state lines, well then you can wear you wear the mask. But he just doesn't have the authority right now to have a national mandate.
All right. Well, maybe you should, because some restaurants you can't wear shirts. You got to wear your shirt to come in. You got to wear a mask going to the restaurant. Anyway, that's another thing. Candace Kelley, we always appreciate your perspective, and anytime you join us, you make our show even that much better. Thank you for giving us the information we need to know from a legal perspective.